Welcome back to another episode of No Buts About It. It is Tuesday, May 16th. I wasn't 100% sure there. Got a bit confused. It's now that I'm out of school, the dates all kind of run together. But that is why we weren't here for a week. If you were wondering, we didn't drop off the face of the earth. I graduated. I got my two very expensive pieces of paper, and I walked across the stage and I was moving out. So we didn't really have time to get together. We didn't have time to record. That being said, what happened was, and I don't know why this happened because I did not expect this to happen with that episode, but the Jackson Mahomes episode where we talked about him getting arrested has over 160 views on YouTube, making it our first YouTube video over 100 views, and definitely over 160, but it's our first YouTube video over 100 views. So thank you so much to everyone on YouTube who has watched that, who has watched the other videos, continues to watch the videos. If you're new to the show, make sure to subscribe. We're trying to come up with new ideas and content as we speak. Pat McAfee is leaving. He's kind of leaving a hole in the free YouTube creator space. He's still going to be on YouTube, but he just announced that he's got to deal with ESPN he's going to be on ESPN. I believe he'll make $10 million a year was part of that deal. Some people are a little scared it's going to ruin the Pat McAfee show. We'll see how that pans out. I still love Pat McAfee. He's a big inspiration for me, but I don't trust ESPN personally where they are now. So if you're from that group, welcome. We like to have fun on the show and talk football. We just mess around. Chus is still in his basement in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, wearing his 2021 ACC Champions University of Pittsburgh shirt. So I'm still wearing the God is great, beer is good, football's fun, Chus is toxic shirt. I think I might have worn this in the last episode. I have washed it since then. It has been a week.
I would hope so. I
have washed it. I wore it to a Pittsburgh Pirates game. I went to a Pittsburgh Pirates game, and we got 3 subscribers from that. And then I had one very old lady who told me that she loved the shirt, she loved the message, and she definitely only read the first line that says God is great, which is true, but I don't think she read the rest of the shirt. But that's fine. Anyway, let's get into it. Big news that happened last week, not a whole lot, but NFL schedules. We know who is playing when. We know where they're playing. We know who's in prime time. That's what people really care about. You have the list of teams that have the most primetime games, who has the least amount of primetime games. So who's got the most, who's got the least? Tell us, Chus.
So, least would actually be 0. So, and that's pretty bold, especially for some of these teams that are on the come up here. But I'm kind of surprised about this. But we'll go through all of them, including we'll just run through all of them. We've got time here.
Okay,
so the amount of primetime games per team, starting with 6. This list doesn't count the Black Friday games, so just keep that. I mean, there probably are some games that will be played on Black Friday. Maybe it's even teams that have 0 or 1 primetime games. I didn't really look that far into it. All I have is this list, my list of schedules for the Steelers, as well as yours, the Bengals, I'm sure. So, but let's get into it. There are 4 teams that have 6 primetime games, which includes the Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers, Buffalo Bills, and the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Stars are in the Western Conference Finals. So when I looked at Dallas and I saw the Stars, I immediately thought of the Dallas Stars. So I'm not stupid. I'm just very hockey oriented, because hockey and NBA playoffs are getting down to the wire.
Chiefs makes sense. Chargers, I can see. It's who in the Cowboys?
Buffalo.
Buffalo, it makes sense.
I'm a little unsure about the Chargers, just because they're okay, but I feel like, Kansas City makes sense. You got Patrick Mahomes, the boy, they just won a Super Bowl. Everybody's been talking about Buffalo. Dallas, they claim it's America's team. at
America's team
times.
that America hates.
Yeah, so I don't, but that would make sense. LA Chargers just was kind of like an oddball for me a little bit. I mean, it would make sense maybe if it was the Rams, because I feel like in at times the LA Rams tend to have more fans in their stadiums than the Chargers that aren't the opposing team. So I don't know. I just
Well,
at times. I mean, hey, did you see
that's
how
because
Phil
Kelly
got
Stafford gave away tickets. You know about that, right?
what to which game?
Matthew Stafford's wife. So she started doing it to all the games, but really the playoffs the year they won the Super Bowl because when they played, I believe it was the 49ers,
Mm-hmm.
um, there were more 49ers fans in the stadium than there were Rams fans. And she was like, I'm tired of this. It got to the point where Matthew Stafford had to use a silent count in his home stadium, which is usually something you only have to do when you're the visiting team.
Mm-hmm.
So she started giving away tickets online for free.
Oh wow. I
That
no, I didn't know about that. Well, I'm not really familiar with how LA's working, but if that's the case, and with I remember this was a couple years ago when the Chargers were still kind of rebuilding in a weird sense. I think we lost them because the Steelers have been very inconsistent over the last couple of years, but I'm pretty sure that the Steelers fans that were there encompassed more of the Chargers fans in attendance for a regular season game. So for them to have 6 primetime games is pretty crazy. And it makes me wonder, considering, you just mentioned, with the LA Rams, the wife of Matthew Stafford, she had to give away tickets. And from what I've seen just with Chargers games, how big of a market is the football in LA is my question. Because if there's more San Francisco fans and not as many LA fans, then what's the point of having the LA teams then at that point? I mean, I'm not saying that the LA teams are bad because I'm sure there's a ton of really diehard LA fans that may not even live in LA, but it makes me wonder how it could have
well,
panned out if St. Louis never lost their Rams. Because maybe that would have actually, I mean, granted, they're kind of close to Kansas City, but different
that's the.
conferences and stuff, probably wouldn't have been a bad thing. I mean, it's the same thing with like Pittsburgh and Philly. So
I think most of the Chargers fan base is still in San Diego, to be honest.
yeah,
Um,
that is true.
who, what teams have no primetime games? Who is there any that maybe should have more?
So, the 4 teams, it kind of makes sense, but there is one team that I kind of disagree with, just in some aspects. But so we have Houston, Atlanta, Arizona, and Indianapolis that don't have primetime games scheduled. Once again,
Hmm.
excluding Black Friday. So, Thursday, Sunday night, Monday night, just so those 4 teams don't. I kind of disagree with Arizona just because I don't necessarily think they're that bad of a team. I think
No,
they
they
probably
suck.
just.
They
I mean,
suck.
I don't think they're that
They
bad.
I'm going to be the toxic one. They suck. They're going to be the maybe the worst team in the league this year.
You think they're going to be worse than some of these? What about some of these rookie quarterbacks? I mean, you have Houston with a rookie. You'll have Indianapolis with a rookie, and I mean, the Steelers still got their primetime games last year. So did Cincinnati. I'm sure a couple years ago when they had Burrow. What makes
And
these quarterbacks not as special? I mean, besides maybe Anthony Richardson, which we've talked about before, but
he's a
um,
great guy.
I mean, he's a very nice
He
guy, but
he
his
stayed to
skills.
clean up the event. He said, "Hey, no, we made the mess. I'll clean it up." Anthony Richardson's stand-up guy.
He's a stand-up guy, but I hope he can also stand up during the football games.
Hey, don't. He's an Indianapolis Colt now, so I'm
So,
going to
but also with that
blindly
though,
support him.
if he ends up being as good of a quarterback as people are saying that he is, why wouldn't you put them on prime time for at
That's
least
true.
one game? So
Hmm.
like that's what I'm trying to get at. Maybe Arizona doesn't deserve it, no, but what about even Houston? They just got 2 top first round picks. They could be. I mean, they may not be great, but it might be fun for a team to watch Stroud play or
I
something like
still can't
that.
believe they did that. I can't believe that they traded up for the second and third. They got the second and third round pick. That's insane.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't think Arizona is going to be that good though. I
I
mean, I know they
mean,
have Kyler Murray. They still have D Hop right now, but
I
That's
mean,
really all they're working with.
I just don't think I don't know because
Joe,
you really never know though. That's the problem. Is like some
yeah,
teams could tank really badly and still have primetime games. I remember when the NFL used to do each team had a primetime game, and now this year without them having primetime games, it's kind of weird, you know. And then obviously with one primetime game, only one, the Washington Commanders only have one primetime game. So they are the
mm-hmm.
only team with only one. And then uh, about 5 to 6 teams each have two or 2 to 5. So,
Do we know? Let me see here if I can find Bears at Commanders Thursday night football. Man,
yeah.
that's gonna be a great game.
And the Bears
Great.
somehow, some way have 4 primetime games. So that's this is what I'm talking about. How do you it's clearly based on market, I get sometimes, but also what about, the other teams that might actually have good players,
This
this
is
year.
this is something we're gonna talk about later in the show,
Mhm.
but there is a ton of hype around Justin Fields this offseason, and I don't know why. Um,
Chicago has the same amount of primetime games as the Bengals, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Lions, who
the
all have
Bengals,
4.
the Bengals, I know are in the running for one of the Black Friday games, so that could help that. But yeah, I don't get how the Bears, who I think they had 3 wins last season,
They did not. I thought like 3 or 4 off the
you
top of my head.
the average NFL fan cannot name 3 of their wide receivers on their team. I don't know why they're on a primetime game unless it's going to be against the Packers.
Which would
That's
make sense, but
that
also
one,
still that's 4 game or that's still 3 games that are left to be
right?
undetermined. And Green Bay even has 5 primetime games, even without Aaron Rodgers.
Even without Aaron Rodgers,
That's insane to me.
hey,
Like that is just crazy.
Devonte Adams came out today. He said he kind of threw some shade at Aaron Rodgers. He
Okay.
said you can erase all the numbers and you just write he didn't need Aaron Rodgers. He said he didn't need Aaron Rodgers to be as good as he is. So
Well,
we'll see how he does with Jimmy Garoppolo in Las Vegas. I like Jimmy
I
G,
hope he stands by that
but
statement because that's a bold statement. I mean, it's really hard to tell. I mean, I hope for his sake that he does really good, but I mean, that's a
mhm.
bold statement to make before the season's even started yet.
Yeah, very
So,
very talented wide receiver, but to say that having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback didn't contribute to your career at all, that is a little dirty to me. But did you watch the I know I sent you clips of it, but did you end up watching the LA Chargers schedule release video?
I did not. No, I don't think so. I
They
didn't watch like the full thing or not. No.
they threw so much shade at the teams they're playing. I've watched it like 5 times, and each time I watch something new. They released it in like an anime type thing.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I did see that. I had a couple
Yeah.
people send that to me on top of you. Yeah, I think
So
I did. I didn't really watch it in depth just because I kind of like just glanced at it. But
the team that obviously got the most hate, their division rivals, was the Kansas City Chiefs. And my favorite thing that they had for the Kansas City Chiefs was in a helicopter, they had Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk chasing a man in a wolf's mask who had just robbed a bank.
mm,
And that was Chiefsaholic, who, if you don't know, has become a legend because he's a Kansas City Chiefs super fan who was arrested because he was robbing banks on his way to the regular season games, to the playoff games, and he was using the money that he robbed from the bank to pay for tickets into the show or into the game. And so that's kind of become he was the face of the Kansas City Chiefs fan base for a long time, and now he really is, because everyone is making him into a meme, and the LA Chargers took full advantage of that. Um, the other one they also threw shade at was Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. I sent you a screenshot of this.
you did, yes,
Yes, it was. He's standing in a dark room for his dark room retreat. He
yes.
has the only thing that is lit is his ring. It's like glowing, and then in the background it says to do list, Another McAfee interview, tweet vaguely, do my own research, referencing COVID, and schedule. And I can't say it's the name of that like plant or drug he likes to use. That's
Yeah.
like herbal supplement, the Hayuka Shah appointment or whatever. And then they also had this is bad. The charge whoever is in charge of this video, they went all out. They had a photo of like Times Square in New York, and up on one of the billboards, it's a lady wearing a Zach Wilson jersey, and it says single Cougars in your area.
Hmm.
So the LA Charge, maybe that's why they have all these primetime games. Because
Maybe.
they threw all this shade, and now all these teams are maybe saying, "Hey, we want some revenge. You're making fun of our guys. You're making fun of our reputation." Did anything stand out to you from that video that you?
No, I mean, I just think it's funny. I mean,
I,
genuinely. I mean, I just think they were funny. Like some of the different, people that they went after. Different teams and players and stuff that they targeted. I just think it was entertaining. You can tell that a new generation of social media
mm-hmm.
people are going in because you can tell that there's more light to some of these social media teams. A lot more. I know Buffalo was doing a lot of meme videos where they were actual memes and from like based on humor of high schoolers and early college students. So I was kind of giggling with some of those. I'm like, there's no way that Buffalo posted this, and then the Steelers are posting more memes now too. I'm sure the Bengals have been posting
Oh, the
stuff. Like
Bengals. We
it's just,
got.
I know you're. I saw what you posted. It was kind of funny that they just started randomly DMing, the players for the Bengals, asking them just the most random, absurd questions ever. How many raccoons? I don't remember who it was, but how many raccoons that your one guy could fight? I don't know
Yeah.
if it was
See if I think it was Ted Karras, the center, that they asked about the raccoons.
yeah.
Um, they asked DJ Reader, "Do you know the Muffin Man?" And he responded, "The Muffin Man." And they said, "Yeah, the guy that lives on Drury Lane." He said, "Oh, we all know the Muffin Man." Um, they asked Evan McPherson, the kicker, if that he thinks washers and dryers are friends, and he said, "I would think so. They work together." And they said, "Does that mean we are friends?" They asked Sam Hubbard, "What is your third favorite cereal? Not first, third." He responded, "Random, but probably Cinnamon Toast Crunch."
yeah.
And then, yeah, they asked Ted Karras, "How many raccoons could you realistically fight at once?" He said, "LOL, do I have a weapon?" They said, "Nope." He said, 3 dozen. So he can fight 36 raccoons at the same time with his bare hands.
Hey,
Um,
that's a tough man right there. That is a
and now
tough
we've got
man.
Joe Burrow showed up to practice yesterday with a headband, absolutely jacked. I mean, dude's gonna throw a freaking 500-yard bomb out of the stadium. His arms are huge, but he now that's become the thing is headband Joe on social media.
Oh,
And
for
then
crying out loud.
my favorite schedule release video, so it's up there with the Chargers. It's tied with the Chargers, I think, was the Tennessee Titans, where they went around Nashville asking people to name the teams that they were playing, and just by showing them the logos. And the Bengals became the Boston Bobcats,
Yes.
which the
Yes.
social media team just they went right into it. They're like, "Your 2024 Super Bowl champions, the Boston Bobcats. Let's go." Like, I'm a Boston Bobcat fan. We all Boston Bobcat fans now. It was so funny, which gave us an idea. Hopefully will happen this week. We need to get scheduling down. We are going to have Jonathan Avocado on, who is our Lions fan, who he's excited
He just
for
decided that he would be a Lions fan a couple
he
months ago, by the way. He has never watched the
yes,
NFL that
yes.
much. So he had to pick a team. He picked the Lions, and now, oh man, this is going to be a very exciting show.
He's been listening to the show. He enjoys the show. He enjoys learning about the drama. So he wanted to come. He asked if I dedicate myself to a team, and learning about the team and following them for a season. Can I come on the show? And I was like, that's great. We're going to have him on to just, talk about, give his opinion, kind of see what he's figuring out. But first, because the Kansas City Chiefs are playing the Detroit Lions for the first game of the NFL season, I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but they're going to come on, or he's going to come on, and we're going to show him all 32 teams' NFL logos.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see which ones he can name. I've already showed him a few, and it was funny the responses he was coming up with. And I didn't tell him the team names, the actual team names. He's not allowed to Google them. He's going to do no research. He's not going to study. This is going to be all off the cuff, just by what the logo is and his prior knowledge of what the teams he remembers being around. But it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. He has already DM'd Patrick Mahomes and asked Patrick Mahomes to sit out the first game of the season. But
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's okay.
I don't.
Alrighty.
He has not received a
He
response
probably
yet.
would have had better luck DMing Brock Purdy saying that he should sit out week 1 because Brock Purdy probably would sit out week 1. Oh wait, he already is. So
Whoa, dude! He's got an injury. He's got
I
an
know,
arm
but like it
injury.
makes more sense because at least at that point it would just be kind of funny because maybe Brock Purdy would have been like, "Hey buddy, I actually already am sitting out. I'm hurt." But instead, Patrick Mahomes is probably just gonna like look at it, shrug his shoulders, and delete the message if he even reads it. That is.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he looks at it, I'd be honored if he looked at it and left me unread.
Well, I mean, there's also the thing. I don't know if you've ever gotten DMs from like random accounts promoting jewelry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into requests, you can click on them, and you don't have to even leave them on scene. You can just delete or accept
Mm-hmm.
it. So he can even just read it and just delete it after he's done looking at it. So
He at the bottom of the message, he was like, "You should sit out of the game because you've got to take care of your brother," or something like that. I was like,
oof.
oof.
Oh, oof. That's a tough one. That's a tough conversation. I'm sure Patrick's very not is probably not that happy
No, no,
about
no, no, no,
being
no.
being the face, pretty much one of the faces of the NFL, and having to deal with his brother going to jail and everyone being like, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes, his brother,"
That was a
you
very
know.
good impression of the entire NFL fan base.
I mean, it is. Yeah, I don't know why, but speaking of fan bases, I went. I don't know how I ended up on his page, but I ended up on Gardner Minshew's Instagram page. Okay, he doesn't post that much, but I ended up on his page not too long ago, and I was going through the comments, and he posted a picture, I guess, of him in an Eagles jersey, playing or whatever. And I was going through the comments, and everybody, like the Eagles fans, were literally just trashing on him, just saying, "Oh, you're trash, bro. Go somewhere else. Go play in Jacksonville." Like they were just ripping into this guy. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" They're like, "You cost us this, you cost us that," and blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Holy, oh my god!" Like it was actually like really sad. No wonder the dude doesn't post on
You
Instagram much. The
cost
the
us
Eagles.
the Super Bowl you didn't play in.
I mean,
It's your fault.
well, I was just so blown away by it. I kind of just want to read some of these just real quick, just since we're on the topic of it. I'm gonna go to the one where he is celebrating, and for anyone that's referencing, it's kind of like this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but he's there and he's celebrating. Look at how excited he is.
Okay, he's
You know,
excited.
people are saying,
Happy
let's
Gardner.
go. Somebody says terrible. You're absolute trash of a quarterback and ruined Hurts' streak. Get out of here, bro. You let us loose to the Saints. Are you serious? Garbage. You're such a bad quarterback. If we win the Super Bowl this year, you ain't getting no dang ring. Your ring is getting revoked, bum. You better be packing your dang bags tonight. God Almighty Savior, if you let this man back on the field next week, I promise not to look at any more uh, big, very beautiful women on Instagram anymore. But I don't want to see him in the sideline either. Leave him on the bud. I'm guessing on the bus, please. Thank you. Like
Wait,
F you, take that jersey off. You just need to leave the Eagles be and bounce, my guy. You're the definition of choke. Bro, you
what did
suck. It's
what
just
did he
like
do?
he lost the one Cowboys game. I guess they lost to the Saints
Yeah, but they
too.
said that he ended Jalen Hurts' streak. They're acting like they benched Jalen Hurts randomly. No, he got
Yeah,
hurt. Jalen
yeah.
Hurts got hurt.
Jalen Hurts
I
ended his own streak. So
Gardner is innocent. We
yeah,
we stand with Gardner on this
I
show.
feel really bad though. Like I don't like seeing any player get hurt. Even Gardner Minshew or anybody aside, that just is that's sad, man.
And we
Eagles
stand with
fans,
Gardner.
yeah, we stand with Gardner. We stand with Gardner. We stand with him.
Solidarity.
Yeah. So I feel so bad. I feel bad for all the hate that a player would receive, especially from a fan base like that. But also, Philadelphia is known to be a very, 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 very toxic fan base. So yeah, so I'm not surprised that they commented that, but it's still just very sad, especially for a player that's trying his hardest. He's trying his hardest. Like you go on some of these other backup quarterbacks, none of them are getting trash. Like you hardly see any of that. Everyone's just no one. Like I said, no wonder he doesn't post at all. Like he
Except
just
for Mitch. You trash on Mitch all the time.
yeah, but I'm not going to comment on his page saying that Mitch is bad. But also,
You'll just put it on YouTube.
sure, sure, yeah. I mean, but I just feel bad. Like I mean, genuinely, I'm not going to tell him he's trash and stuff to his Instagram page. I feel like that's just also a waste of text.
That's where he draws the
So
line. He'll put it
yeah,
on a podcast. He'll put it on Spotify. He'll put it on YouTube. Won't put it on the Instagram
maybe I'm
page.
having a change of heart. Maybe I'm having a
UFC,
change of heart.
maybe. I don't know. It does say Chus is toxic for a reason.
Yeah, but maybe I'm having a change of heart right now. Maybe I feel bad. Maybe I feel bad.
Nah,
The
nah,
Steelers.
no.
Did you hear what the Steelers did though? The
What?
Steelers have signed Mason Rudolph
Did they
back.
really?
Yeah, they did. He is probably going to be our third string.
That just reminded me. So, you know how I was telling you about the streak that the Bengals have since 2013. They have had someone from Fort Wayne on the team.
Yes,
Okay. That was going to end this year.
but they signed
And
someone for Fort Wayne, didn't they?
they just signed an undrafted free agent wide receiver who went to the same high school as Jesse Bates. Um, to their practice squad right now. I don't know if he'll get moved up. We'll see if he makes the 53-man roster, probably as a special teams guy. But hey, it counts.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
That was the most excited I've ever been to see an undrafted free agent signing. But
Yeah, I forgot. I think you messaged that maybe to me and Stan or something that happened, or I don't remember. But I felt like you mentioned that to me, and it just totally went over my head. But my the reason I brought it up is just because my mom was very excited because she likes Mason Rudolph.
mm,
So
old helmet head.
hey, listen, that whole situation was that was a tough day. I didn't even see it happen live. I fell asleep during that game. Just a very sad day.
Fake fan.
Fake fan.
Let's
It was primetime game, bro. It was a school night. I was tired. I was. It was like 2018, 2019. I was up at like 6:30. It was either Monday night or Thursday night. If it was Thursday night, that makes much more sense. But now as a college student, it's easier for me to stay up late and wake up early. But as a high schooler, it was not that easy.
Oh, little baby. Let's talk about Justin Fields, who we mentioned him early in the show. I said we'd talk about him. This guy, I don't know what he did this offseason. Maybe you have seen something that I haven't, but I've seen some boards where they've got him in like top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
I have no idea what he's done. But yeah, keep going.
They're talking about how Justin Fields is the new franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears for sure. He's settled in. He's going to be great. Granted, he has not had a lot to work with. I'll give him that. But last season was not a phenomenal season for Justin Fields, and I've got his stats right here. He had 2 games where he had under 100 passing yards, both to division rivals. In week 2, he had 70 passing yards against Green Bay. And in week 17, the final game of the season, he had 75 passing yards against Detroit. And a lot of people talk about him using his legs. They love him using his legs. I think this guy might be the next Lamar Jackson, but not in the way that Chicago Bears fans want him to be. I think he's going to end up being this guy who has to overuse his legs, gets hurt a lot because of it, and doesn't have a strong passing game. Lamar has a decent passing game, but Justin Fields did not have a single game over 300 yards last season.
Mhm.
passing. One. He had 2 games where he eclipsed 200 yards against Minnesota and Green Bay. What do we think of Justin Fields? What do you think of Justin Fields?
Well, Justin Fields, I feel like it's kind of a it's interesting that all of a sudden there's a ton of hype around him. I haven't seen a whole lot, anywhere of people saying, "Oh, he's been working out a lot more. Look at him throwing and stuff." I also don't really follow the Bears that much. I mean, usually I only follow, specific teams more than others. I only follow a certain amount of accounts on Instagram, so I don't always see what's happening with some teams. Chicago obviously being one of them. And the thing with the Bears, is they didn't really have that good of a season last year. Granted, like I said, he didn't have a lot to work with, but I don't know how much the Bears have done this offseason. I mean, they have made some moves, but I don't know if it's enough to solidify Justin Fields as that guy. I mean, he could be that guy, but throwing under 100 passing yards in any sense should not make you, the next big thing. I mean, yes, you need time to develop, but he joined the Bears in 2021. He was drafted that year, and he is now going into his third season technically. So a lot of people would say it could be his second, just because the 1 year's a rookie or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
did throw that out the window. It's his third season, and I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of promise last year. I mean, granted, he didn't have a lot to work with. I mean, Chase Claypool at one point was wide receiver one. So, and Chase Claypool obviously did not have a really good year last year. They obviously, Chase Claypool was traded from the Steelers because he was not playing that good. Ended up going to Chicago, hoping for a change. Still nothing happened with him. He was still just kind of just in the middle. So, but with Justin Fields, I think you do bring up a good point. I think that Justin Fields, I think a lot of people want him to be like Lamar Jackson, but the problem is he doesn't throw like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson at least will get. It's weird because I remember having him in fantasy. I believe it was last year or the year before. But homie would throw 200 yards passing in a game and then rush for 150 yards for an encompassed amount of 350 yards and like 3 or 4 total touchdowns, which is insane. Whereas Justin Fields, he might run for 100 yards, but he might only throw 70. So then at that point, it's only at 170. So like Lamar
Mm-hmm.
would just like his stats were just so buffed because of that. Now I do think that Lamar Jackson has been injury prone over the last couple of years. We've even seen it with running backs themselves. Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley are two that I can think off right off the top of my head. When you overutilize a guy when they're in their running ability, they are going to get hurt. They were overusing Christian McCaffrey in Carolina. They were definitely overusing Saquon Barkley in New York for the longest time before they actually started getting some stuff down. Granted, in the Giants right now, their wide receivers are still all over the place. I feel like a lot of times their wide receivers get hurt. They had all these most random wide receivers ever, but it's not here nor there. But for a while, Saquon kept getting hurt, and Christian McCaffrey kept getting hurt in Carolina. And granted, we haven't seen full season of him in San Francisco, but they don't utilize him as much in San Francisco. So he's more or less going to get hopefully less hurt. And why that's relevant is if Justin Fields or even a Lamar Jackson per se, if a team wants him to scramble as much as he can, eventually he's going to get hurt because, and as a quarterback, if you're meant to throw the ball and you're running and you're taking big hits and all of this stuff, because it's not like a wide receiver is going up against a cornerback. You're going up against these, defensive linemen. You're going up against these linebackers. You're going up against these big people, especially if you're running out of the pocket to the
Mm-hmm.
left, left to the right. You could meet, Miles, Miles,
Miles
Miles
Garrett.
Garrett. I was gonna say Miles Jack, but I was gonna say Miles Jack, but I don't. Miles Jack ain't gonna tackle him. But Miles, I was blanking for a minute. But yeah, like Miles Garrett, you can meet him on the side. You can meet like T.J. Watt on the one side. You can meet and wherever you're at, like whatever team you're playing, you could have struggles because of how if you're moving out of the pocket so much. I mean, it can work, but we didn't see it work that successfully in Chicago last year. And Baltimore did have a little bit more success with the run game. So.
Yeah, I mean, so we've talked about how the Jets, their last 4,000-yard passer was Joe Namath.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at a chart the other day. The Chicago Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer. And they're an old franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're technically the first franchise if you follow their history back.
Yeah,
But um 2,242 passing yards is what Justin Fields had last season. I just don't see him as the guy based on what we've seen so far. And he did improve from his rookie year to this year. But
which is good. Which is good.
that's good. That's improvement. But I don't know. I mean, there were guys who by their sophomore year, you were like, this guy is going to be our franchise guy.
Trevor
Joe Burrow,
Lawrence.
Justin, or not, yeah, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. Mahomes really took off in his sophomore year because he
Yeah, he was
was
behind
benched
what
his rookie
Alex
year.
Smith. He was
Alex
behind
Smith.
that first year. Yeah.
So, I mean, those guys, you've looked at them and you're like, they're going to be, or for sure, guys. I haven't looked at that. I haven't looked at Justin Fields and been like, he's our guy. And I didn't look at Mac Jones and say he's that guy. And Mac Jones is kind of slumping now. Now the Patriots fans are kind of like, is this our guy? Is this the guy we're working with here? Which Mac Jones has a lot of history on his shoulders that he's working with, but at the same time, it's like, are
Hmm.
you gonna be the franchise? Can you be the franchise?
I mean, but the thing with Mac Jones also is, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you have the development of quarterbacks, but it feels like Mac Jones, like you said, almost just hit a slump or just like has just like panned out. I mean, because he'll have somewhat big games, but then other games he's just not that good. And like I don't know why. It reminds me a little bit of Zach Wilson at times, but also Zach Wilson was so inconsistent last year. It's kind of hard to
mm-hmm.
compare him to Mac Jones when Mac Jones was at least somewhat consistent. I get that Patriots fans are mad that or a little frustrated that they're not consistently making playoffs like they did with Tom Brady. But in fairness, I mean, you're in a rebuilding state. You have to eventually get a quarterback. I don't know if it'll be Mac Jones. You hope that it is for the team, just because
Well,
at
I
that
hope
point
that
you
it's
want.
Bailey Zappi.
I mean that would be kind of cool too. I mean, you hope that you find the quarterback nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it, it going back to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is only going to have a couple years, and then what are you going to do? Same thing with Tampa. I think Tampa might be a really not that great of a team this year.
Not gonna be good.
I don't think they're going to be that good. I mean, nothing against Baker, but like they lost all of their star
Did
players.
they
They had
lose?
Tom Brady for 3 years ish, right? 3 years, and it's one of those things where for New England, for them to get rid of Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi and bring in like a like a Ryan Tannehill, for example. I mean, he's not as old as like an Aaron Rodgers, but he's still in his like mid-30s. You only got so much time with these quarterbacks. And then eventually you're going to have to find a replacement anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
might as well just start young anyway and try. And if they're not that good, okay, well then just find a new young quarterback. Draft one in the 6th round or 7th round or 4th or 5th round and maybe get a Tom Brady diamond in the rough or something. I don't know. Just try. I mean, or you'll end up with like a Malik Willis or a Nate Peterman who.
A lot of these teams have John Wolford. That's who I was thinking of. They just signed John Wolford.
Mm-hmm.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did, who was a backup in LA. But I think a lot of these teams have a win now mentality
Yeah.
where they're tired of people saying, "Oh, you don't have a Super Bowl," so they're just going to go get one, and
Yeah.
they throw away the future. That's kind of what LA did with Matthew Stafford. Um, Jets kind of seem to be doing that. Tampa did that. A lot of their star players are gone now because they retired or were lost in free agency. That's why I kind of like what the Bengals are doing. And I think teams are going to realize it's smart to just kind of build the atmosphere, have your core guys, and then find your replacements in the draft. Get really good at drafting rookies and replacements
But
because,
and yeah, and I mean you even see that in Kansas City too. I mean,
mm-hmm,
I know Patrick
yep,
Mahomes, like he's just working with the youngest guys ever, and they ended up being like way better than what people
right.
expected them to be, especially like Isaiah
Sky Moore.
Pacheco, Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like
Pacheco, Sky Moore.
some of these
He made
guys are.
Juju look good. He made
Yeah, I
Juju look
mean,
fantastic.
man, Juju was not playing at his best capacity in Pittsburgh. Now he is a Patriot, so maybe
Right.
that'll help Mac Jones,
But
but also we'll see. But still,
you replace like safety. I mean, R.I.P. Jesse Bates and Von Bell, but we brought in Jordan Battle. we have the man now from the third round. We got Miles Murphy, who I just got my Sports Illustrated magazine that was supposed to come a month ago. They had him
Nice.
set 10th overall, and we got him at pick number 28.
Hey,
And
Joey Porter fell to the Steelers at in the
we
32nd
saying
pick. So
we
I'm
saying we maybe saying bye to Trey Hendrickson, but we got Miles Murphy. And that's what these teams need to do. They need to draft well, get good at drafting, replace the guys you can replace, keep your key guys. I'm not saying like get a new quarterback every 5 years, but we've got Joe Burrow, we've got Jamar Chase. Those guys are going to be Bengals for a while. T. Higgins will probably be a Bengal for a while. Logan Wilson, Evan McPherson. You've got the big names. You can replace the other guys though. And for the fan base, it sucks because you have memories with guys. Like it sucks losing Bell and Bates and
I
Hayden
mean,
Hurst.
it's also
But
nothing against free agents or trades either, because once
mm-mm.
again, trades can work and free agents can work. Like, for example, Chicago did take that risk of taking up Chase Claypool, who wasn't doing good in Pittsburgh, and ended up getting a trade for him. And he ended up going to, Chicago, but he was young. So, like, yes, you take that chance with some of these players. I'm not saying, don't trade or don't pick up players in the free agency, because sometimes you can get some diamonds in the rough. But the problem is just like you said, if you're not developing for the future, your team's going to down the line struggle in the future. And the future might come a lot sooner than you anticipate. And it's going to hit the team like a truck. And you're already
Mm-hmm.
seeing that in Tampa. That team got hit like a truck. Like this
LA.
is, yeah, LA is going to get hit like a truck. I mean, well, last year, yeah,
They already
they
did.
were hurt with a lot of injuries and stuff, but well, I mean, we'll see, because now this year they won't have the excuse of, oh, Matt Stafford's hurt, Cooper Cup's hurt, Aaron Donald is fighting an injury here and there, or whatever they said. I don't really remember, but there was a lot of panic that was going on in LA last year. But nonetheless, I just you need to get better at like drafting, trading, and making picks that are developmental for the future. Even if you get a 26, 27-year-old guy to replace a player that you lost in free agency who might have been 34 years old, hey, you're taking that step backwards, and you're not getting like a 34-year-old replacement for your 34-year-old player. You're at least going at least somewhat backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I agree with you on that. I agree with you. And as for, Cincinnati, like I said, I hate to always, side with and accept you guys as a good team, but you guys are a good team, coming from a Steelers fan, but you guys also know how to, you
Thank you,
know,
Duke Tobin.
work how to, yeah. And I'm hoping Omar Khan for the Steelers, actually. I mean, we seem to pretty much have a really good draft. If everyone pans out, they gave us like an A rating or something. So a bunch of people, a lot of teams said it was a good draft, but I mean, we'll see how Porter plays out, and we'll see how all these guys play out. I'm hoping Broderick is good, and so
Have
on and
you
so forth.
have you ordered your Jordan Battle jersey yet?
My Jordan Battle jersey? No, I actually have not. Haven't. I mean, also right now, I don't think they have. Do they have Battle jerseys up yet?
No.
Because I know a lot of times they have first round talent before they have like anyone in the second or third round, because I remember I wanted to get a Pickens jersey last year or a year before that, like right when he got drafted, or well, it wouldn't have been a year before, but like when he got drafted last year, I wanted to get his jersey, and I couldn't get it immediately until he started like actually producing. Now could be a chance. I can't see that. Is that Jordan Bell? He's gonna be 27. Wow. Yeah. All right,
But
so I can't get it. I don't know. I might have to get a shirt first before I invest in a jersey. I don't know how I could. Then again, I don't wear jerseys as much as t-shirts, so it might work
uh,
out. But I have been looking more towards a Kenny Pickett, University of Pittsburgh blue and gold jersey, since I will be meeting him in June, re-meeting him again. So I figured, hail to Pitt. So
I'm the only one who can do that. It's really nice. Um, but yeah, that's exciting for you. But we're coming up on the hour, so
45, 45. Yeah.
let's. You do you have anything more you want to say?
No, I don't
No.
think
Okay,
so.
so we're
I
good.
don't. I think I'm good.
Good show. Good show. Thank you for listening to today's show. If you enjoyed, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We can be found anywhere you listen to podcasts and on YouTube at No Buts Show. Our social media pages are No Buts _show on Instagram and No Buts Show on TikTok. My Twitter is Josh_Butts_2001. And if you would like to reach us, you can email us at bullmoosepodcast2. That's the number 2 at gmail.com. Finally, our spread shop where you can find awesome merch such as this. The link to that will be in the description. So make sure to check that out. Once again, if you enjoyed today's show, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, go do something nice for someone.